stand up. Give a huge round of applause for Lisa JIng.
Thank you.
You raise me up to walk on stormy seas. I am strong.
Thank you. Please have a seat. According to Gallup research, 80% of people are unhappy in their jobs. 80%! That means that only 20% of us, 1 out of 5, are satisfied and fulfilled in the work that we're doing. I think that's a terrible tragedy. What a waste of time, talent, and energy. And when I think about the fact that I spend more time working than doing practically anything else, including sleeping, the impact of that is enormous. How could we let this happen? How could we get stuck like this? As I think more about it, I remember back a while ago when I was working my way through graduate school. I was the front office manager of a dental practice. So I did all the usual things you would imagine in a position like that. Accounts payable, accounts receivable, answering phones, making appointments, basically doing all of those things that you need to do to keep an office running smoothly. I took that job for very practical reasons. It allowed me to have a 4-day work week. So it allowed me to be able to go to classes and take care of my newborn son, manage a household. I basically did what I thought I had to do just to kind of keep everything going in my life. How many of you have ever experienced that? Just doing what you need to do to take care of business. Okay, thank you. The truth is, I hated that job. It did not suit me at all. Now, some people would really like that kind of a role, but I was bored out of my mind. I'm just not cut out for an administrative position. I was so miserable in that job that I actually used to cry in the bathroom at lunchtime. I was pathetic. I had allowed myself to become a drone. I fell into this habitual pattern of busyness and exhaustion to the point where I just became numb. Have you ever been in a job you hate? Yeah, so you probably can relate. I trudged along in that role for 4 years. Good news is, I finally finished school, got my degree, and left the dental office. Yes! And I moved on to working as a clinician, doing crisis counseling in a drug rehab center. Now, a lot of people wouldn't even consider working in a place like that, but I loved it, and I was really good at it. I finally got to apply all the things I'd learned in college and graduate school. And I got to help people who were at a very low point in their lives get the treatment they needed so they could make a fresh start. And that felt really good. It was really rewarding for me. For the first time in my life, I had the experience of doing work that I was really, truly passionate about. And I decided that from that point forward, that my work has to be an expression of my true passions, a reflection of who I really am. Since then, my career has taken a number of twists and turns, and each position that I've held, I've gained greater clarity about what I enjoy, what I'm good at, and what's most important to me in my career and in my life in general. And, I've learned that what I do is really an expression. It's really a gift that I'm giving. At one point, I decided to leave the clinical realm, and I moved into a marketing role. And I discovered I love the business world. It was really a surprise for me. I enjoyed being part of a large team and working on big projects in large organizations. I didn't expect that to be true. And in the later 80s, I went on from there and I became a technical recruiter. And that was a wonderful experience because I got to help managers build their teams. And I became fascinated with what makes some organizations very successful while others flounder. I noticed that teams that share a common vision and purpose tended to be more successful, and they were definitely a lot more fun to work in. That makes sense, right? I would think so. So fast forward. I've worked in the corporate environment for over 15 years. 12 of those in a Fortune 500 company, an industry leader as a human resources professional. And I specialize in what we call culture initiatives. Those kinds of initiatives like leadership development, teamwork, and corporate wellness. And I really enjoy helping teams be more successful. I now own my own business. And my vision is to transform the workplace into an environment where people are their whole and best selves, where they are truly healthy and happy, where they have a sense of true life balance on a daily basis, and they spend their time and their energy focused on those things that are most deeply meaningful for them at a very personal level. Did you know that 30% of employees in any average company are what we call engaged in their work? 50% are not engaged, and about 20% are actively disengaged. Let me explain. Engaged employees are the ones who are truly committed to their company. They have passion. They are loyal to their team. They're the ones that go the extra mile. They are the ones that are driving innovation through their creativity. They are seldom absent, and they have a can-do attitude. The not engaged are the ones that are just kind of going through the motions, punching a time clock to collect a paycheck. They're not really committing their energy, and they're not really contributing very much. They tend to be absent a lot more, and they're driving up healthcare costs due to illness and depression. The actively disengaged are not only unhappy in their roles, they're actually undermining and sabotaging the rest of the team. They're infecting others with their negativity. So let me ask you, what category are you in? In 2003, I went through a divorce, and I became the primary support for my two kids and myself. And my son was in private high school at the time. I was paying about $12,000 a year in tuition. It was right after the dot-com bust, so a lot of the people in my company, a lot of my coworkers, and a lot of folks out in the market in general were getting laid off. I was under a lot of stress, and I was tempted to just hunker down and be grateful that I even had a job. Just put my nose to the grindstone and focus on the task at hand. Have you ever felt like that? Just kind of tempted, just be grateful that you have anything? Well, what was kind of funny was that the economic reality, my economic reality following my divorce, actually had kind of an unexpected impact on me. The situation was that my custody agreement was that I had my kids every other week for a week at a time. So during the weeks when my kids were with their dad, I focused on my job, tried to get as much done as I possibly could so that I would have more time available to them during the weeks that they were with me. And after doing that for a while, I realized that anything that takes me away from my kids during my week has got to be very important for me to devote any time to it. I now know that what I do for a living, that my career is a lot more than just finding satisfying work that pays the bills. My chosen profession is an expression of my larger mission and life purpose, my reason for being on the planet, here, in this place, in this time in history. How I use my time and talent is my contribution while I'm here. I wonder, what would happen if everyone felt that way? An interesting study was conducted recently. 100,000 people in 34 countries were surveyed. 51% of respondents worldwide said they would sacrifice status and pay for more meaningful work. I think that's amazing. How many of you are surprised by that finding? How many of you are not? Thank you. So let's extrapolate a bit on this. If we know that the majority of people are unhappy in their work, and roughly 70% are either not engaged or actively disengaged, and people prefer meaning over money, then perhaps we ought to consider a different way of looking at the world of work. You think that might be a good idea? I think most people would agree that the current corporate mindset is really focused on material outcomes, namely making money. And we've all seen how that's turned out. Greed is through the roof. Corruption is becoming more and more common. We're seriously degrading the quality of our planet, the health of our very world. Chronic diseases like cancer and diabetes are on the rise. Workers are stressed out, burned out, and fed up. So what if the focus of business was on meaning instead? What if the standard in business was on delivering value that really enhances the quality of life, not just for people, but for the planet in general? What if we had a standard in business that focused on really addressing the long-term benefits of customers, not just their short-term desires? What if the standard in business was on delivering value that really nurtured our souls, nurtured us in mind, body, and spirit? What might that be like? You know, I find it intriguing that companies like SAP, REI, and Zappos are forward-thinking, heart-based enterprises, and they are hugely successful. Their customer satisfaction ratings are sky high, and their balance sheets demonstrate solid business performance in multiple key indicators. And most impressive, their employees love their jobs. Isn't that incredible? You know, when you think about it, when people are treated, whether they are employees or customers, in a sense that honors their whole being in mind, body, and spirit, doesn't it make perfect sense that financial well-being, that financial abundance would naturally follow? In these businesses where employee engagement is high, they are focused on meaning, and the financial performance is a natural result, not the focus of their business. Important lesson there. What if there was a new model in business, one that really provided for true life balance, where career, relationships, finances, health, spirituality, giving back, recreation were all in harmony and balance together? A world where no one ever had to choose between money and health, money and relationships, money and spirituality. Wouldn't that be incredible? I'm committed to helping business leaders reignite the passion in their organizations so that individuals and organizations are passionate and successful. So how can you help shift the focus in business from an either-or to a both-and, where people are happy and successful and are truly experiencing meaning in their daily lives? I have 2 suggestions. How many suggestions? 2. Thank you. Number 1, live your passions. Do what you love. Number 2, insist that your work is a celebration of who you truly are, who you really are. As Confucius reminds us, choose a job you love and you will never have to work a day in your life. Thank you.
Lisa JIng, give her a hand.
My name is Lisa JIng. My idea from the heart is to transform the way that business is conducted here on the planet, where we're focusing on meaning as much as money. It's been incredible, absolutely incredible. The community of people that have come together with a commitment to develop and deliver their messages is just, it's a brilliant idea. And you know, I from the moment I first heard about it from Anthony Lee, I was completely taken. It's like, I got to be there. I absolutely have to be there. For me, Ideas from the Heart is exactly what needs to be shared. We hear a lot of inspiration, you know, talks and such. What Ideas from the Heart is about is really those things that are truly meaning driven, you know, and that's what I'm focused on, is helping people really get clear about what their mission is and what kind of meaning, what's most meaningful in their lives, experience that and express that through their life's work. And Ideas from the Heart is so consistent with that, you know, helping people get clear about what it is that's meaningful for them and sharing it with others and living it and delivering it in a way that connects people. I would say the weekend that we spent in Tahoe. Really, it's not really a moment, it's a lot of moments kind of together. The opportunity to really come together and support each other, very focused on our message, fine-tuning the specific messages, and then really practicing and helping each other be most effective in delivering those messages. It was a hell of a lot of fun. We had great camaraderie, great spirit and energy and incredible skills. You know, just everyone coming together. Ben and Anthony, who were leading it together, did a fabulous job in designing how the weekend went in a way that was really, really just brilliant curriculum design, as well as it kept us right on task, and we were able to accomplish in 3 days. I tell you, more than I thought, I was going to be able to accomplish in 2 weeks. So very effective in getting us ready. So that was incredibly memorable, and I'm going to cherish these memories for a long time. My call to action is for individuals and organizations to get really clear about what they're passionate about, and then to have the courage to live those passions, and for individuals specifically, to insist that their passion, what's most important, what's most deeply meaningful, is a part of what they do, whatever it is, their job, their profession, whether they're, run a company, they're, an entrepreneur, whatever it is, that first of all, get clear about what your own passion is, and then do it. Live the passion, and insist that your life's work is a reflection of who you are and what's most important to you. Ideas from the heart, unleash your heroic voice. Bam!